What's going on, guys? I'm going to be showing you actually a piece of old news. And the reason I'm going to show you this old news is because apparently there's a lot of people who still believe that the mainstream media is honest, which is incredible to me because it's actually common knowledge, at least in my circles, that nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? CNN, MSNBC, PBS, Fox News. Yes, Fox News is mainstream media. Yeah, there are certain things where they report a little differently. Mostly a lot of, political football subjects, like welfare, things of that nature, police shootings. Yeah, they differ in that light, but especially on global matters, they're right in line and on the same page as CNN and MSNBC. So they are mainstream media. Now, basically, I was on social media the last couple of days, just kind of paying attention to people who are actually defending overall journalism. Now, there are still some journalists who are very, very honest. And to be honest with you, the mainstream media look at those journalists as enemies. Now, you take this young lady here, Amber Lyon. She's was an award winning, well, she still has her awards, but she used to work for CNN. She was well respected. And she went out and did a story, I believe it was in 2012, where she went to Bahrain and covered the protest out there. She and her team managed to get on footage the government of Bahrain actually killing their own people in the streets and shooting their own people. She talked to some people there who had been tortured by the federal government there. She just really did a bang up job. And when she got back to the United States, first of all, she had to sneak it out because the government there sent an intimidation squad to them, and all these guys were in masks. And her and another brave young lady was able to hide some footage in their bra, and they managed to get it back to the United States. They aired it, and then the government of Bahrain actually called CNN and paid them to take it down. And basically what she's exposing here is the fact that foreign governments, even state sponsors of terror, governments who run under strict Sharia law, pay CNN and other outlets to report on them in a positive light. And I already knew that the media was doing that. I just, before this story came out, I didn't know. At first, I kind of thought the reason they did it was because the federal government was telling them to do it. Look, if you want access to us and access to information that we don't give other outlets, you need to play ball. And I thought that's why they did it. But now, according to this story, they actually get paid. They actually pay them. These governments are actually their customers. To make them look good to the global public. And right now, I'm quite sure it's a mixture of both. I'm sure that the government does tell them, what to do. I do know for a fact that a lot of these outlets are very concerned about having access to certain information and access to the president and the White House and all of that. But anyway, we'll go down here and we're going to check out a little bit of this video. This video is long, and I'm going to show you another one too after this. It's long, so we're going to kind of scroll through it. All right, here we go.
Leaving Egypt, but when unarmed... But when unarmed protesters were killed by the Bahraini police, the hopes for reforms dimmed.
So feared by the government.
We have in Bahrain. I just want to be free in my thought, free in my speech.
For years, Ali ran the popular website secretly.
Everybody thought it is an engine where many people controlling it. It's only can I get a lawyer to go with you. I called him half an hour. He did not reply. From that moment, he disappeared.
The message went out across the blogosphere. Free.
Tied your legs, then they put handcuff in your hand, and your hand should be like here. Then they put you like this, and my face should be like this, and they hit you in your feet and legs.
We asked Bahrain's Nabil Rajab is also the organizing, quote, a terrorist group, attempting to, quote, overthrow the government by force. But they provided no evidence. Nabil Rajab is also the president of the Bahrain.
And what did you do when your dad was taken away?
Went to the bedroom, handcuffed me in front of my daughter, and start searching the house.
And what did you do when your dad was taken away?
Bahrain's capital, thanks to the intense military crackdown. We ventured into another side of Bahrain, with birdshot every day, striking unarmed with birdshot every day. Online, advocates like Rajab say security forces have been shooting into neighborhoods with birdshot every day, striking unarmed civilians. They've been documenting the wounds on Facebook.
And he said already I removed around 40 from my body in the hospital.
This is Birdshot says that the police have been using this to shoot them. They're just little pellets they get in the body. Look.
A flashbang grenade.
You have people wounded every day and you don't know how to deal with them. You don't know where to take them. Doctor.
Ski masks. Some in civilian police vehicles surrounded us. When we reached Rajab's home, suddenly, half a dozen military and police vehicles surrounded us.
What are they doing?
About 20 men wearing black ski masks, some in civilian clothing, pointed machine guns at us. They forced us to get on the ground at gunpoint. They asked us, there are no protests.
If there's a protest, do they protest?
What process? There's no protest.
The minders instead bring us to see the nice things in Bahrain.
Enter in through here.
They take us to see the mall. It appears the so-called Arab Spring may be losing its bloom.
Okay. So you get the idea there. I don't want to show you the whole thing. It's long. Another thing about this young lady is CNN also threatened her severance package when they eventually got rid of her. She had a severance package that came with healthcare insurance, and they told her that if she kept telling people about how they accept money from foreign governments to report whatever they want them to report, that they were going to take her severance package away. And now here's a story that she did with Alex Jones. And yeah, Alex Jones can definitely get crazy. But this is actually a good piece. I remember when Alex Jones, many years ago, when he actually was legit, and he didn't get into some of the crazier stuff that he talks about now, like aliens and things of that nature. Always been a bit right wing, but you know, he used to be really legit, and I used to listen to him. And I couldn't wait to listen to him. He was one of my favorite sources. And one day, I do not know why, for some reason, he started really reporting on some really crazy stuff. He started getting more into theories, things that he had absolutely no proof for. So I stopped listening to him, because I'm the type of person, you know, if I don't want to listen to you just to be entertained by crazy stuff that you're saying. And that's basically what he started doing. But every now and then, he still does some good journalism. This is actually a very good piece. We're going to go through this right quick, even faster than the first one, and then we'll wrap it up.
Wrote editors and said, our viewers are really confused about this legislation. In my reporting, Alex, we have a naval base right now in Bahrain that is giving us access to the Strait of Hormuz, which is essentially where the U.S. wants to be right now in its potential future escalations with Iran. So the U.S. government doesn't want the U.S. media to report negatively on Bahrain, because your tax dollars are going directly to empower and enable this regime. Not only that, we I was having trouble sleeping at night, knowing that I had this information that the public needed to hear, and that really was the straw that broke the camel's back, Alex. And then I came forward with the Guardian articles, full-fledged, and major mainstream media networks. And not to say that Ahmadinejad isn't freaking nuts and he doesn't deserve to be talked about, but I find it odd that considering all the problems we're facing here in this nation, that the mainstream media is continually focusing on Iran and feeding us propaganda about Iran, Alex. And I have my gut is telling me that we are being propagated into potential sources. And sometimes the answer was no. And I think that's a situation and a chilling effect that should be terrifying. Information. Step one. Okay, let's evaluate that risk. Now, if you're subpoenaed, will you give up your source? No, I would always say I'll never do that. Okay, so now, if we're going to go through the story, are we willing to pay the legal fees if Obama subpoenas us for those sources? And sometimes the answer was no. And I think that's a situation and a chilling effect that should be terrifying.
Sure, and the answer, I want your answer to this. The answer is the media universally sticks together for the First Amendment and journalistic integrity and goes after Obama.
And I think it's time as journalists, we need to really step forward and focus on the elephant in the room here, and that's the propaganda and sometimes lies. Construction of this $2 billion NSA facility that would terrify most Americans if they knew that the NSA was planning on collecting that much data on your personal communications. Why aren't they out there covering that?
Listen, they've got a giant one in San Antonio, and they are
the internet censorship legislation, also about NDAA. And she said, quote, this is what she writes me today. She wrote editors and said, during the time, I don't know if you remember in the press, there was all this press about SOPA and ACTA, the internet censorship legislation, also about NDAA. And she said, quote, this is what she writes me today. She wrote editors and said, our viewers are really confused about this legislation and they really want to know more. And she says that her constant emails were ignored. And in the end, she writes, I remember wondering if I was crazy to think there was a deeper reason why CNN wouldn't cover such important subjects, the important subjects, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's someone who was on the...
Okay. So this young lady also went on to say, which is a good thing, she said that a lot of people in the media, the CNN, people she used to work for, they support her wholeheartedly, but they support her, but they're afraid to do what she's doing. And look, you can't really blame people for that. You know, a lot of these people have good jobs and getting paid. Yeah, I know they should do it anyway. But realistically, we're lucky to have the ones like her who do come out. Now, this woman has been officially, she's an official whistleblower, and the government hates her. The mainstream media hates her. People like Joy Reid, they're an embarrassment to people like this lady. Joy Reid is a complete sellout. She is a deep state government tool. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this story starts to come back, if you see Joy Reid dogging this woman out. So, so I'm going to put the link to this article down in the description section. And if you know somebody that's new to politics, man, and they're thinking that a lot of these things that are coming up is something new. It's something that started with Donald Trump. And, they need to be educated. They need to know that we've had problems for a very, very long time. And no, they didn't just start. And if they're going to come in and be involved in politics, they're more than welcome. But they need to educate themselves. And we need to be a part of that education. All right, guys. Thank you. Talk to you later.